एग्जाम्स आ रहे हैं और इकोनॉमिक्स के टॉपिक्स जैसे कि इन्फ्लेशन टेंशन दे रहे हैं। वेल डोंट यू वरी, वेलकम टू माय चैनल। मैं हूं आयुषी अग्रवाल और आज हम इस टॉपिक को मिलकर मास्टर करेंगे।
I totally get it. The moment you see an inflation question on an exam, it just creates so much confusion, right? But hey, that's what we're here to fix. After this explainer, I promise you, whether you're preparing for SSC, banking, or railway exams, you are not going to lose a single mark on this topic. We're going to make every single concept crystal clear.
All right, so let's get started right from the very beginning, from the absolute basics. We're going to build this concept from zero, so there's no room for any confusion later. First things first, let's understand what exactly is this thing we call महंगाई or inflation.
Okay, now on this slide, I want you to focus on two really important keywords: sustained and general price level. So sustained just means that prices are rising continuously. It's not a one-day thing. And general price level means that pretty much all goods and services are getting more expensive. So what's the biggest impact of this? Well, it's that your money's purchasing power, its ability to buy things, goes down. The thing you could buy for 100 rupees last year, well, now you've got to shell out more for the exact same thing.
So knowing the difference between these two is absolutely crucial. It's actually pretty simple. With inflation, prices go up and the value of your money goes down. Deflation is the exact opposite. Prices come down and your money's purchasing power actually increases. Now remember this, because this basic difference is a favorite question in prelims exams, so keep this one in mind.
Okay, so now that we've got a handle on what inflation is, what's the next logical step? Well, it's understanding its different types. And let me tell you, this section is super important for your MCQs, so you're going to want to pay very close attention here.
Look, based on the rate of increase, we basically have 4 types of inflation. First step is creeping inflation. That's anything less than 3%, which is considered manageable. Then you have walking inflation, from 3 to 10%. That's a bit of a warning sign. After that, things get serious with galloping inflation, between 10 and 50%, which can really destabilize an economy. And finally, the worst of all, hyperinflation. We're talking over 50% per month. That's when a currency can just collapse. You have to remember these numbers, guys, because you will get direct questions from this in your exam. All right, let's try a quick practice question. So, if a country's annual inflation is 8%, what would we call it? Think about it for a second. Got it? The correct answer is B, walking inflation. And why is that? Because 8% falls right into that 3 to 10% bracket. See, examiners will try to confuse you with the options, but if you just remember the range, you'll be golden.
But have you ever stopped to think, why does this inflation even happen? I mean, what's going on in the economy that makes the prices of everything start to climb? Let's dig into the main reasons, or the causes, behind it all.
So, there are basically 4 major causes. First, you have demand-pull inflation. That's when demand is way higher than supply. Then there's cost-push inflation, which happens when the cost of production goes up. Third is an increased money supply, basically too much money chasing too few goods. And the fourth one, and this is a really important concept, especially for your mains exams, is the wage-price spiral. In this, wages go up, so prices go up. And because prices are up, people demand higher wages again. It just becomes this never-ending cycle.
Okay, so we've covered what inflation is, its types, and its causes. But now for the big question. How do we actually measure it? How does the government come out and say inflation is at 6% or 7%? This is probably the most practical and definitely the most frequently tested part of this entire topic.
The 2 most important measures are WPI and CPI. Now, WPI, or the Wholesale Price Index, tracks prices at the wholesale level. Pretty straightforward. But CPI, the Consumer Price Index, tracks prices at the level of consumers, like you and me, the retail level. And here comes the single biggest difference, and listen carefully. Services. This is where SSC sets a trap. They will ask you which index includes services, and the answer is always CPI. WPI only includes goods, not services. You should absolutely star mark this point in your notes.
Now, besides WPI and CPI, there's one more powerful measure you need to know about: the GDP deflator. While WPI is for wholesale and CPI is for retail, the GDP deflator is the big one. It measures the price changes across the entire economy, every single good and service produced. That's why it's considered the broadest, most comprehensive measure of inflation.
And the formula for it, you absolutely have to know this. In banking exams, they ask for this formula directly. It's the GDP deflator equals nominal GDP divided by real GDP times 100.
This question gets repeated a lot, so please note this down right now.
So from now on, when you hear in the news that the RBI has changed the repo rate or that new inflation data is out, I'm confident you won't just hear the headline, you'll actually understand the economics behind it. And that, my friends, is the power of having clear concepts.
All right, let's do a super quick recap for your last-minute revision. Point 1. Inflation reduces your purchasing power. Point 2. Know the rates for creeping, walking, and galloping inflation. Point 3. The big one. CPI includes services, WPI does not. And finally, point 4. Do not, under any circumstances, forget the GDP deflator formula.
If you found this explainer helpful and your concepts are a little clearer now, please do hit that like button, share it with your friends who are also preparing for exams, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. For a free PDF of this session, and for all the updates on our upcoming videos, make sure you join our Telegram channel. You'll find the link right down in the description box. I'm with you on this journey to crack your dream exam. For more crystal clear explainers on important topics just like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope the concept of inflation is now perfectly clear for you. Next video के लिए channel पे बने रहिए and keep